Hey everyone, it's me Alex again, and we're in for another discussion about games. No shocker to anybody on this channel, or anyone that's been watching this channel for God knows how many years now, and on my old channel. Now, the second discussion we're going to be having is about Legend of Zelda. Not the whole franchise, but just the recent incarnations, like Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild 2 someday. But more so, I want to be talking about Age of Calamity, which is a very interesting game in terms of its story. Now, this is going to be a very spoiler-heavy video, so I would recommend stop watching right now if you don't want to have the story spoiled for you. Jeez, I can't even get my freaking words straight. Anyway, so what is Age of Calamity? Well, if it's basically a Dynasty Warriors sort of game. Now, I say sort of because, like, they made one before called Hyrule Warriors, and then they ported it to every damn thing they could think of on Nintendo consoles, like the new 3DS, for example. Well, technically the regular 3DS, but the new 3DS took advantage of the hardware's issues, I guess you could call it. The game was having hardware issues on its OG version of the 3DS. That's what I meant to say. So that's basically very arcade-like. The story is very eh. And then we got the definitive edition on the Switch, which I'm not gonna play it because I already played the Wii U game, all the DLC on there, and I know that there is a ton of stuff that I have not touched in the the 3DS DLC, I guess you can call it, or 3DS exclusive stuff that got put onto the Switch. Why not the Wii U? I don't know. I really don't know. But just watch The Completionist in terms of why I won't touch that game, because even though I dumped so many fucking hours into the original. But I don't really want to be talking about that one, because that one, it's Dynasty Warriors. So now I say this one, Age of Calamity, or Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, full title, is not quite a Warriors game. It is, at its very base core, but it doesn't rely on like the morale system for like bases and all that. It doesn't feel like it's focusing too much on that. It feels like it's trying to be more of a Zelda game with Dynasty Warriors on top of it, which is nice. I like that approach, instead of just throwing the Zelda characters into the Dynasty Warriors engine and call it a day. I was really happy that they decided to switch this up. Switch it up. Anyway, so what is the story of this game? Well, it's an alternate timeline. So it takes place before, right before the calamity happens. And we have a little, again, spoiler, little robot. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he is the best robot, or guardian. We're going to call him Lil Guardian. Okay? So, Lil Guardian over here came back from the future, as far as I know. And he was sent back in time from after Breath of the Wild to ensure that this would not happen. Now, I don't know. Now, this isn't canonical to the timeline or anything. What the heck was that? Okay. It's not canonical because, you know, it's not actually made by Nintendo. It was made by Koei Tecmo. And honestly, it works, because this robot's entire purpose is to cause a butterfly effect and try to just stop the calamity from succeeding in terms of killing off the heroes and, you know, putting Link into stasis and all that. And it does a very damn good job about that. It helps us, like, it digs more into its lore, I guess you can say, compared to the Breath of the Wild. And like the Yiga clan seems a bit more interesting now, rather than just a stupid annoyance like they were in the original game, for example. Like Master Koga and Suga, great characters. Koga's the best. Just the way he talks is just kind of funny. Then we have, honestly, my least favorite character in the game, which is actually sort of true for the first one. Or, well, I can't really say the first one because this isn't the second one. So, Breath of the Wild 1 is Zelda herself. Now, she does get better towards the later half of the game in terms of the story, because she just... I know she's only 16 in this game, which I was like, you're 16? Like, Jesus Christ, okay. I'll give her a little slack then in terms of her not whiny, but her very self-doubted type ways. But Ocarina of Time, that version of Zelda was far more confident. And she was only about Link's age at that time as a kid. So that kind of was weird. But they want to make it a little bit more realistic, which I can get. And maybe it's just how the voice actress delivers her lines that make her sound a little bit off. Nothing against the voice actress whatsoever. It's just all about voice direction. Everyone else seemed pretty good. It's just Zelda was a little bit weird. And then we have the original character, Aster. He's a seer, who basically is the not harbinger. He's basically, well, there is a harbinger that Ganon took over another version of the little robot, the Guardian. And basically his entire purpose is to make sure that Ganon gets not really revived. I can't tell if it's revived or succeeds in the calamity. But things don't quite work out the way they want. And he decides, Ganon is just like, you know what? Aster, fuck you. I'm going to take over your body, basically is what he does. And we get a humanoid-styled Ganon. And honestly, if I were a little kid playing this, I'd be fucking terrified looking at this thing. Which was amazing to know that you can unlock him and play as him. And I hope there's DLC, because I did finish the game 100%. No regrets. It was a fun time. It wasn't as long as Hyrule Warriors, but it wasn't too short. Just about right for that kind of game, which was great. The only thing I didn't like were the Divine Beasts. They kind of felt like they were just tacked on and not with any substance. It's like, oh yeah, go do that real quick, and then, okay, now we're on to the real battle. There's no leveling up of the beasts or any, like, fun ways to control them. They're not fun to control, I'm sorry. Anyone who is a fan of those. They're very clunky and slow, and yeah, they're powerful, but it's just kind of there. I don't like it. Anyway, we have there's 18 playable characters, so that's interesting compared to the massive amount that was in the first game. First Hyrule Warriors. Now, when I say the first game, I'm referring to Hyrule Warriors, just that, and then when I say the second game, I'm referring to AoC. So, in the first game, there were a lot of characters. They all had to go up to level 255, I believe it was. I think it was 255 at the last update for it, on Wii U anyway. And Jesus Christ, it took so long. It took so long to freaking get those characters leveled up. But in this game, they find a very interesting balance with how they do it. Instead of just doing it like the arcade style of just, oh yeah, just go get rupees, whatever. You have the whole semi-crafting system, where you can go to multiple shops and buy things for just little icons on the map. Yeah, and what's clever is they use the world map from Breath of the Wild to basically show you all the missions you gotta do, the people you gotta help. They say unlock more shops, get discounts on things, new characters, new battle missions, stuff like that. And that's very fun. I thought it was a very interesting little difference that they did. I don't know. The smallest things kind of make me interested, or more so, just kind of gets me. It's like, yeah, like just yeah, boy. Anyway, yeah, you basically prevent the Calamity Ganon from reviving fully. And why is the name of that robot on the top? Terrico, I think it is. Maybe, I can't remember. Probably should have looked it up before doing this, but we're too late. We're too deep, boys. We're too deep. Now, now with that, would I recommend Age of Calamity? Yeah, yeah, I'd recommend it. And I'm not really a Warriors kind of guy, because I've tried Dynasty Warrior 7, 8, and they're alright, I guess. It just feels like they put a lot more love and effort into the Zelda games. It just really does. And also, fuck the Korok seeds. Seriously, fuck those. I just use a video guide for all that crap, because new. And they don't even tell you that there are some in the side missions, or one in some of the side missions. I was like, where are the last 12 Korok seeds I need? You know what I mean? I was like, all right, screw that. So, yeah, this is very disjointed. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts out. Just spit it out into the camera about what I thought of the game. Was it good? Was it bad? It was great. You know, I recommend it. And now, a short little session talking about Breath of the Wild 2. Now, Breath of the Wild 2 was announced back in 2019, and it was supposed to... I don't think it's coming out this year. I don't. I honestly do not think it is, because of COVID. That probably put a massive slowdown on the game's development, which is fine. I'd rather wait a long time for this game to be good, because Breath of the Wild, that took, what, only 4 years when you think about it, but look how great it turned out. It's one of the greatest games of all time. And it took, what, again, a couple delays, but some games get delayed even longer, or you get games like Final Fantasy 15 where it doesn't turn out like that. So it's really interesting when people say a delayed game is eventually good, but some games are just too far gone. You know, Duke Nukem, anybody? But so, yeah, with the long development time of Breath of the Wild, which I can understand why it took so goddamn long. I mean, they were first making a Wii U game, and they had to utilize all that. And then they eventually were like, well, fuck, it's coming out. We're launching our new console soon. We need to make it compatible with that to give a great launch title for the system. So, yeah, the Wii version got a little bit, downgraded, but by what means, we don't know. Other than possibly the map being on the bottom screen the whole time. Other than that, I really don't know what could have been changed, but I'm okay with that. So with Breath of the Wild 2, I feel like they're going to do a dual release, or they're just going to scrap the Switch version and put it on their next-gen console, because it's getting kind of close to the next Nintendo console launch. I only say that because it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so every 5 years, Nintendo usually drops a console. So in about, a year, we might see their new console, maybe. And they might have a version of the game for the Switch, and a version for whatever the hell the next console is called. That's my bet. Because they probably want to make as much money off this game as possible. So they're going to probably do what they did ever since Twilight Princess. It feels like, minus Skyward Sword. Because I don't really know how the hell they could have made that work on Wii U, to be honest. Actually, that game probably should have been on Wii U, because I do not like Skyward Sword one bit. Sorry to say that, but I do not like that game one bit. Because of those fucking motion controls. they weren't perfected yet. And I'm glad that that style of gameplay is dying off. It was good for its time. Let's go back to basic regular ass controls, please. Nintendo, do not fucking do something stupid with your next console, please. Anyway, besides that, that's all I can really say about Breath of the Wild 2 in terms of what I think will happen with it, because we don't really know much other or about it other than, oh my god, I can't stop stuttering. We don't know much about it other than the trailer we saw, and Ganondorf will be coming back, which will be interesting because Ganondorf is one of my favorite villains of all time. And I always was like thinking to myself, where is he? You know, like in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, yeah, he's there, but he's some weird essence across the whole world. I'm like, okay. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like it was a full Zelda story experience, which I feel like this game is gonna do a very good job at doing. I wouldn't mind it being a linear styled game. I mean, yeah, you could explore, but not to the point where it's so goddamn open-ended like Breath of the Wild was. BOTW2, I wouldn't mind it having a little bit of exploration, but just keep it somewhat railroaded. Keyword, somewhat. Because we don't want it to be too linear, otherwise people are going to bitch, and they're going to say, oh, this is nowhere near as good as BOTW1, because it doesn't have the open world aspect. But they have the whole Hyrule world pretty much laid out. So, I mean, they could just repurpose a lot of that. So, again, I am not a developer. I don't know how the hell things work over there at Nintendo, especially Nintendo. Because the games they make are usually 9 times out of 10 high quality. Minus the Wii U era. Whoops. Yeah. Bad era for them. But anyway, I already rambled on long enough. Because otherwise I'm just going to be repeating myself and stuttering over my own words because I can't not stutter. And I also couldn't get into a video out very quickly because the thing my phone here is propped up on is was a bit broken when I tried to put it on again. So I had to go find my old freaking my old what's it called, tripod, set it up here, and then set up the light behind it. It looks really awkward, but it works. I'm fine with that. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about this for now. If you want, you can put a comment down below saying you should talk about this next. I may or may not have any opinion on it. I'll let you guys know in the comments if I do or do not. Doesn't mean I'll get them out like bang, bang, bang. No, but I will get to them if they're recommended. So anyway, if you enjoyed my dumb rambling about Zelda stuff, and possibly any other future stuff, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Or you can dislike it if you did not like it. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't like it. But, well, I wouldn't recommend disliking it because then I would be very, very sad. I'm just screwing with you. Anyway, guys, I'm Alex, and I'll see you guys next time.